I'm at a festival in Cromer in Norfolk here in the UK, and that screen looks mightily fuzzy. I'll try and see if I can make that any better for you. I don't know if I can. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see. Is that any better? Is that just my glasses? I don't know. It looks really odd. Anyway, let's just go with it. Otherwise I could end up spending ages trying to change settings on the camera and stuff. It means the live chat then bombs out. Also, I'm on mobile internet, so I'm hoping this stays pretty good. It says I've got 5 bars, so should be good. Yeah, right. Welcome to an impromptu live chat on Brooks's Bass Corner on a Friday afternoon. So we're at a gig here in Cromer. I'm trying to find where to put this. See if that works. That might work or not. It might not. And yeah, we're at a gig in Cromer in Norfolk here in the UK. And as you can probably hear, and you can certainly see on the windows, it's absolutely hammering down. We're outdoors. We're doing an outdoor gig on a big stage. It's right in front of me. And it all looks great, but it is absolutely tipping down. Basically, where we are on the Norfolk coast, next stop is an oil rig in the North Sea. That's where we are. And it is absolutely bucketing down. And for about best part of 10 days, I've been watching the weather forecast on my weather app on my phone and on my PC. And crossing my fingers saying, please be kind. Didn't work, did it? It's absolutely pouring. It's been pouring actually most of the day since I left London. We had a brief bit of respite as I got into the fens. Once we got off the M11 and literally all the way here, it was kind of okay. Wasn't much rain. As soon as we got to Cromer at lunchtime, it's absolutely tipping it down. You'll hear it. The soundtrack of this, you'll hear it hitting the roof and the windscreen. We got hours until we're on. We're not on for quite a while now, but it's forecast to rain all day, all night, and more tomorrow. They've got more bands tomorrow. So tonight it's Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno and a Motown's Legends band. People have paid £30-40 for tickets. It's £50 I think on the gate. I think maybe it's less. Personally, had I bought a ticket, I wouldn't be coming to stand in the middle of a field, freezing cold. I mean, it's about 14 degrees here, 15 at a push, and it's just solid rain. I knew when I drove into the grounds, and that wasn't the easiest thing either, trying to find exactly where we were. There were no signs. There were no signs to say this is where the event's being held. And as we drove up the hill, I could see the stage, and I thought, oh yeah, it looks quite good. And then we drove along the side, past the side of the stage, and it's all open, literally open to the elements. And this has always been my thing with doing outdoor gigs. It's all good if the weather's good, but if the weather ain't good, you've got a real problem. And you've got electrics, and you've got people, and the weather can just get worse and worse and worse. And I did look at the side and think, yeah, the rain goes horizontal, the wind's going to start blowing that in. I'm not going to be a happy boy, am I? So we've just done sound check, which was a fair old faff, and we couldn't go anywhere near the front of the stage. Maybe the front third of the stage was just completely waterlogged. Now the joy of tonight is I have no amplification. I've literally got a bass into a pedal board onto IEMs. I've got no monitoring. The poor organizer of this whole event was at the front in his high-vis jacket with like a water scraper getting it off the stage. And I said, mate, it's absolutely pointless. I said, because by the time you've got from one side to the other, it's like the Forth Road Bridge. You're going to be going back to the other side and it'll all be as bad as it was the first. There's just no point. It's no point. All you're doing is pushing water down the back of speakers and along cables. Just don't do it. Don't do it. But hey, never mind. We're here, aren't we? So we'll try and entertain the people that do turn up. I think the gates open at 4, which is like now. So I can see the area in front of the stage from my car. I can show you. So this is my view at the moment. Never mind the air freshener. But so if people do start appearing, probably in scuba gear and with flippers, then I'll see that. Yeah, we're gonna have some sort of event. But yeah, I will be honest and be very fair. For the last 2 years with Uncle Funk and Queen and the ABBA bands and the wedding bands and everything I play with, all the outdoor gigs have been pretty damn good. We've had no rain. Last week was the portent that started it off. So last week we had Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at Camper Jam Festival. We played on Friday at Oxted Festival in Surrey, and it was lovely. It was a summer's evening, warm, balmy, sat around in our shorts and our t-shirts, drinking beer, doing a gig. Happy days. Saturday, Camper Jam was a totally different experience. So we had literally like tidal waves on the motorway on the way up, aquaplaning, thunder and lightning once we got in the Midlands. It was just horrible. When we got to the gig, we were advised by a member of staff on their gates that the event had been cancelled. It hadn't. What he meant was his event on his side of the country park where the festival was, his bit had been cancelled. We got round to the big top and it was all happening. Our gig was on, so that was all good. But it was horrible. It was wet and cold and people were soaked, but the gig went great. Everyone in the big top was fabulous. So thank you. If you were at Camper Jam Festival last weekend, you saw Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno on the Saturday night and you enjoyed yourselves, thank you. Enjoyed it. But tonight's a very different situation because we're playing outdoors. Everyone's going to be outdoors. I saw a message pop in there. Blame Lewis, good to see you, mate. Good old English summer, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? So this is 2 weeks on the trot. We've had fairly grim weather, and tomorrow we got another gig, but it's a wedding and it's indoors, so thank goodness for that. But yeah, so you got the catering companies and things all up the side of of where the main performance area is, and I just don't know if they're going to make any money whatsoever. I mean, we were given meal vouchers for our food. We're probably going to be the only people they see. I mean, I wish this festival well, but I just can't see it. Outdoor events, you take the luck of what the weather's going to be like. And last week at Oxted Festival, on the Saturday, they had thunder and rainstorms through the afternoon. I don't think they quite got it as bad as we had it in the Midlands, but this is what happens, you know. This is it. This is the way it all pans out. So if you get lucky, you have good weather like Cambridge Club, Saltasia, fabulous. Sorry, it's all jittering around. I'm basically holding my camera, my phone on my camera on a little tripod. There's nowhere on my dashboard for me to put it. I don't think. Is it going to work? It might not. No, it's not going to work. Well, maybe it might if I... Hang on. I'm jiggery pokery. Let's see if that works. Maybe. You might be in luck, boys and girls. That's a friend of mine playing bass with the Motown Legends band. A guy called Eric Guy, I think. I decked for him a couple of years ago in a covers band. And he just came up to me. He said, "Are you Mike Brooks?" He said, "Oh, Eric Guy." And I decked for him in a band called the Supertones a year or two ago. And yeah. So it's very nice to finally put a face to a name. And, yeah, no, this tripod thing's just not having it, is it? Come on. Get it sorted, Michael. So I thought I was going to be doing this from like a nice plush changing room. We ain't got nice plush changing room. We've literally got like a tarpaulin tent thing. And it ain't great. And we're just informed by the organiser that we've got no drinks. We've literally got about 8 bottles of small bottles of water between 9 of us and our sound man. And there wasn't even a bag of crisps for everyone. It was like a couple of bags of crisps and a few biscuits. So thankfully our sax player was driving past McDonald's on the way here. And she was in contact with a trumpet player, Rosie. And she said, I'm going past McDonald's, does anyone want anything? She got the whole band order. So we've just had cold McDonald's. But that's just the way it is. World of rock and roll, people. Welcome to my world. It's not always, you know, nice plush doos, loads of food, and all the, you know, the joys and frivolities of rock and roll. Sometimes it is this. I wouldn't normally be ensconced in my car, of course, but I thought a live chat might be due. I've got great reception, phone reception, so why not? Let's see if that works. That might work better. Does that work? Let's see. Then I'm out of phone. I can't get this thing. Let's see if I did it over there. Does that work? No, then it's on the lean, isn't it? Oh, that might be better. That might be it. Oh, might have success there, Michael John. We might. There we are. Excellent. So yeah, so welcome to Brooksy's car. going a bit stir crazy today. It's a shame. This was promising to be a really good event, and I've got friends coming tonight as well. So I look like I'm fat. It's just my wallet's in my hoodie. Brooksy's Base Corner hoodie, after all. Yeah, I've got friends coming. The original, no, not the original. Back in when I first started doing this professionally, I was in a glam rock tribute band called the Sugar Plums, and the singer from that band, who was in it for the first 18 months that I was in the band, lives up here now. I haven't seen him since 2012 maybe, and he moved up this way with his wife and kids quite a while ago, and I hadn't seen him in ages, and he said, oh, you're playing down the road from me, can I have some tickets? So we got him on the guest list, but I think looking at it, I'm waiting for him to say there's no way I'm standing in a field pouring rain. But there we go. The joys of festival life, guys and girls. So I hope you're all safe and well out there. I know this is an impromptu one. I did post on the community tab about an hour and a half ago. But I hope you're safe and well. Hope life's treating you well. We've got a live chat coming up a week on Tuesday, July 25th, I think that one is, and then we got one more at the end of August, and then we get back into the regular Tuesdays, hopefully. So that's all good. And what else have I got to tell you? I had great intentions of getting some demo videos up on the channel this week, filmed them but haven't edited them. Had a lot going on. Family life at the moment. We've got my father-in-law is going through terminal lung cancer, so we've got we're dealing with that at the moment, so that's, I apologize for the lack of content on the channel, but I have been filming. I've just got to edit it up, so hopefully Sunday night there could be some new stuff on there, and I would hopefully this week we'll have a load of videos, new videos up for you, some new shorts, some new short form content across the different platforms. But here on YouTube there'll be YouTube shorts, a couple of bass demos, a couple of bass reviews maybe. I say a couple. I have to leave 2 days between each long form piece of content, so the maximum I can get up in a week is 3 really, but that's doable now that I've filmed what I wanted to film. So I'll do my best to edit that up on Sunday and get that out to you guys. So yes, I hope everyone's doing good. What have you been up to? Let me know. If you're out on gigs today, let me know where you're playing. Are you as daft as me doing an outdoor gig? If you are, where? Hope you got better weather than we have. And yeah, let me know what bases you've got out with you. Got the empathy with me, of course. We've got episode 48 of the bass string experiment being filmed today. I need to do a little bit of that once we finish this live chat. So yeah, 48 today, 49 tomorrow, and then 50 will be next week Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at Stand and Calling Festival, one of our favourites, and I really, really hope we got no rain at that, because that would be very messy. That's a big old festival and a lot of walking around between areas, so if it's raining that day on Thursday, I will be packing the wellies, I promise you. But yeah, that'll be number 50 for these strings if they get that far. Fingers crossed they do. But I've just played the bass on sound check and it sounded good, so happy days. You've done 3 weddings this week using Marcus Miller Fender Jazz. Excellent. I'm glad you've had 3 gigs this week. It's been a little light for me. Generally Saturdays and the occasional Friday. It's been a funny year for gigs. Can't put my finger on it. I don't know any bands that are absolutely flying, but I keep meeting various bass players and other musicians, and they're all saying it's up and down. Like, really busy band, as I was saying, I'm available. I don't actually have a gig on July 29th, at the end of the month. And they were saying they've had no inquiries for the band, their function band. That normally it's 3 or 4 versions of that band out every Saturday of the year. They said they've had no inquiries for July 29th. Don't know what's going on. So I saw a message pop up there. Nothing but weddings, Mike. Well, good for you. Well done, sir. It's good to know someone's working. Oh, I see a couple of stragglers appearing in the field with very, very big umbrellas. You might need more than that, ladies. I tell you, you're going to need more than that. It's going to be just a muddy pit out there later. Think Glastonbury 97. Goodness. Oh well. We'll try and entertain them. I'm more worried that we're going to die of pneumonia and exposure at this rate, because it just hasn't stopped raining since we arrived, and that was at 1 o'clock. Like I say, it's been raining most of the day, so well, it did on all the journey from West London to here. So yeah, so what's the news, people? What have you been up to? Let me know. Merchandise is selling nicely. Got the hoodie on today. I got a cap in the back, I think, and yeah, we had I think there was a 20% off discount this week up until it was midnight Wednesday going into Thursday. It was 20% off discount. You may well have seen me post about that on the socials and the community tab. I'm going to have some new designs for merch very, very shortly. Actually, I've got the ideas are there. I just need to come up with the graphics, upload to the store, and then I'll be able to show you what I've got in mind. So how did your weddings go, Blame Lewis? Where were you? Were you southeast based? Were you all over the country? I've done a lot of driving lately. So today Norfolk, tomorrow Bishop Stortford. I was down in Plymouth a couple of weeks ago for a Queen gig. Last weekend we were up in Telford, Oxford in Surrey. It's all over this summer. It's there's a fair bit of driving going on. Still got a fair bit to go as well. And in 3 weeks time, 3 weeks today, we'll be in Denmark. We're doing a festival over there with Uncle Funk, so it's going to be a busy couple of weeks. But 4 gigs next week. So we've got Stand and Calling on Thursday, Chidfest with Uncle Funk on Friday. Got a wedding with the Capricorns on Saturday in Newbury, and then Sunday Uncle Funk is doing kind of a private party festival thing near Cambridgeshire. So yeah, busy one next weekend. Busy one. But yeah, welcome to the confines of my car. I couldn't do this in the changing tent. It was just way too small and very dull for the rest of the band to listen to me talking to my phone. But yeah, little do they realise I'm talking to the wider world. But I think some of them might be either getting some shut-eye in their cars or contemplating going to the pub. But it's like, yeah, tempting, but there's only one thing's going to happen if you go to the pub, and still got driving to do today, so maybe not, maybe not. But yeah, so yeah, it's been a sort of start stop sort of summer, really. Uncle Funk really didn't kick into life until June. We did a bunch of gigs in February and March, and then we had nothing through April and May, which is a little strange. But then it started to get busy with a couple of bands needing a bass deck on a fairly regular sort of weekly occasion. So I was quite busy through May. June has been pretty busy, but again, then we end up with, like, you can go from having 3 or 4 a week to one or nothing. And I've got a week, not next week, the week after, I've got one on a Friday, but still don't have a gig for Saturday, for July 29th. So we will see. We will see if something comes in. If any of you bass players out there need a dep, and you're in London or UK at the least, and you need a bass player or bass dep, give me a shout. I am here and available. And then August kind of gets busy again. September's fairly frantic, and then when we get to October, it kind of falls off a cliff, back to one a week. But 'tis what it is, you know. 'Tis what it is. So I don't know how this festival's going to pan out, because at some point I presume they're probably going to put the Motown Legends on first. Well, I know they're putting Motown Legends on first, and they're probably going to look to see how many people. Hello, Stacey Ann from North Carolina. I saw your message pop up there. Hello. Yeah, so they're going to put them on first, as we knew they would. But I mean, they're going to have to judge it as to how many people that come in, because once they're on, if people aren't coming through the gates, then they're not going to come for us as the night wears on. So they'll probably have to decide what they're going to go for, really. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. At what point do they just go, it's a washout? If they get us to play and there's literally no one in the field, well, frankly, I can't imagine the uncle going for that. But we'll see. We'll see. And it's an overnight stay in a hotel tonight, and then wedding indoors tomorrow in Bishop Stortford. So yeah, we will get the gigs done, then back home on Sunday, and I'll start editing this YouTube content for you fine people out there. So there's going to be a few bass demos. I'll try and put some reviews up. I've realised, actually, and I'm not proud of this fact, I haven't done a bass review here on the channel for 2 years. And the reason, I've tried to work out why I haven't. I filmed a load. There's a load already backed up, but I haven't published them because the time that's required to do the social media and everything, if you don't have the time frame around the launch of the video to promote it, it doesn't really sort of do anything or take off. But also, doing a bass review takes a whole lot of time, a lot more than doing bass demo. And I was trying to use my time as productively as possible and get as much content done as I could, but just lately it just hasn't been feasible to do that. So I apologise for that. There is a whole raft of reviews already on the channel, which I did during COVID, but like, I literally have this huge list on a piece of paper on the wall in front of my monitor at home, and just got to go through and start ticking them off. But it's getting into that routine of film, edit, upload, film, edit, upload, film, edit, upload. And it was a lot easier to do that during COVID lockdowns because there was nothing else to do. But when you've got day-to-day life and gigs and what have you, and it all kind of conspires to get in the way. It makes it a bit tricky. I always knew this would be the problem when you got a YouTube channel up and running, trying to maintain that level of output if you're not doing it full time. It's hard. It's really hard. Unless I produce videos that were like 90 seconds long, that'd be easy. But I saw that message. Mike Hicks, saw your pic on Facebook earlier. I'm not sure I'd have wanted to plug into any power on that stage. Horrible out there today. You're right, it is. I did make sure the guy, as the rain started getting heavier, I got him to cover it with bin liners. So I was okay. And again, I'm not running any amplification today. I mean, you can probably hear the rain on the roof. Stacey was thinking the same thing, Mike Hicks. Yeah, and it's not meant to stop. This is meant to be the way it's going to be all day. I want some more people turning up with their brollies, and I can't see it. I can't see it. We're meant to be going on at about 8:30, I think. 8:30, 8:45, 10 to 9. We're 4.5 hours away. So you're going to have another 4.5 hours worth of rain on the ground. I mean, it's a health hazard is what it is. But the poor people that put these on, they sell the tickets, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Band, us and the other band need paying. You sold the tickets, you got the money, but it's a hard one. For years, in all the bands I've played in, especially when you do weddings and they're in marquees, don't do that. Even in the summer, you might think it'd be lovely to have an outdoor wedding and have a marquee and it's going to be wonderful and romantic. Not when the weather's like this, it isn't. I did one wedding in a marquee once, and the marquee wasn't sliding, but the whole event was in this marquee, and it was on a hill. So you can imagine which way the water was running. And it just turned into a mud bath. You had people in there in very expensive clothes and shoes getting absolutely caked in mud. And you learn very quickly, gigs in the rain, no. If you're thinking of doing an event in the UK, put it indoors. Doesn't matter what time of year, just put it indoors. Oh, we've got 2 from earlier, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 8 people in the field. It's 4.5 hours till we're on, gang. I hope you're prepared. If someone turns up in a scuba suit and flippers, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd say well done, well thought out. Crazy. And they've got, as I said earlier, they've got another round of this tomorrow. They've got rock bands tomorrow. 2 rock bands on tomorrow night. And the ground is just going to be sodden and waterlogged, and it's still going to be raining. Oh well. Oh well. We soldier on. So how's things in North Carolina, Stacey Ann? How are we doing? I hope you've got better summer weather than we have. I wouldn't, like, if it was wet but warm, you kind of go, okay, but it's cold here today. It's like 14, 15 degrees. There's a bit of a breeze in the air. It's wet. It's horrible. It really is. I'll open the door, but the whole, like, along here will get soaked. It's just horrible out there. Not good. Not good in the slightest. So once we finish sound check, because I'm just on a pedal board and a cable, I just packed everything back up into the case, brought it straight back into the car. So I've got my basses in the back, all my bags and stuff. Not a day for the light-hearted today. Faint of heart, that's what I meant to say. No, definitely not. And the skies are just grey. There's like no intimation that it's going to brighten up or this might blow over. It's not meant to. It really isn't. Maybe something might change overnight, but I can't see it. Can't see it. As I say, I hope next week at Stand and Calling is a little better. I hope it's not like this. We've had 2 years at Stand and Calling which have been outstanding. The footage from the gigs proves that. But it's always warm and dry. And I'm just not... I can't remember what the weather forecast is for Thursday in Hertfordshire. So we will see. And then Friday we're down near Brighton, Chidfest, so it could be a bit more of this, possibly. Who knows? We will see. But I was hoping we were going to have like some, not necessarily plush changing rooms, but something a little better than what we've got today. Not ideal. Not the picture I had painted in my head for today, that's for sure. But yeah. So you got any questions about bass guitars, bass amplifiers, pedals, speakers, effects pedals, pedal boards, bass strings? If you want to talk about anything that we normally do here on the live chat on Brooks's Bass Corner, please feel free to fire away. That's what I'm here for. I have hours to kill. Hours to kill today. So feel free. Feel free. Like I say, we'll be having another live chat a week on Tuesday, on 25th of July, here on the channel, on a Tuesday evening. And then there'll be one more at the end of August. And then we get back into the weekly live chat cycle from about the start September. Yeah, start of September, we'll get back into that. It's been weird not doing live chats on Tuesdays, I have to say. It throws my whole sort of expectation of the week out. And so roll on September, come on. We'll start doing it again. But I hope everyone's having a nice time. I hope if you're on holiday, well, I hope you got better weather than this. If you've come to the UK for your holiday, this weekend wasn't the week to do it. A couple of weeks ago, would have been good. Not now. It's cold and it's wet and it's grey. It's not good at all. Here's all the security and the stewards. They don't look like happy people either. Don't worry, gang. I don't think there's going to be many people for you to look after, if I'm brutally honest. It's I mean, you'd have to really love sitting in a wet field, listen to great music, don't get me wrong. A night of Motown and disco classics is enjoyable. I'd be up for that, but not in this weather. It's peculiar. Oh, more stewards. There's a lot of them. They're multiplying, I swear. They're reproducing out of a hedge. Possibly. Bizarre. Yeah. Crazy. Crazy. Welcome to British summertime. This is what we get. I knew we had it too good the weekend we did Cambridge Club and Saltasia. I thought this isn't going to last. Not at all. Lo and behold, it hasn't. It's got progressively worse since that weekend, really. Not been good. Not been good at all. But yeah. So, what's your news? What's your news? What have you all been up to? I know what's going to happen. We're going to get to like 6 or 7 o'clock. Suddenly people will start appearing because they've finished work. So, yeah. Thank you to all new subscribers. It's been a whole load of people. Actually, I think 3 or 4 people have joined today to the channel. So thank you. Very much appreciated. Good to see you. Hope you enjoy the content on the channel. If there's anything you'd particularly like to see, leave a message on the community tab or contact me through the social media platforms. You can do that. Yeah. If you've been to see any bands lately, let me know who you've been to see. What were the gigs like? I know the Who have been playing this week. We've had all sorts of people at Hyde Park here in London. Billy Joel last weekend, Bruce Springsteen, Daryl Hall was in town as well. Hammersmith last Sunday. I can see life. I can see people sort of mooching about. Drink sponsors deciding to use the loos in front of me with a huge umbrella. He's not daft, and he's got wellies on, so clever man. Well done, sir. I'm not quite sure how we're going to get from the changing room to the stage in our costumes without getting absolutely soaked and blown to bits, but there we go. Clearly the folk of Cromer and surrounding districts are hardy folk, because I can see loads of people in shorts and jackets and hats entering the field. Guys, if you can do a rain dance or something of that nature, maybe might help the situation. I don't know. I can't guarantee it. But yes, you were mentioning about the photo of the stage that I put up on Facebook, and we got all the rain coming down on the PowerPoints. Yes, very dangerous. That's why I asked the guy to put a bin liner over the top of it. But yes, well, this is another consideration. Thankfully, the Motown Legends band are going to be on before us, so if something's going to go bang, pop, fizz, dare I say it, it'll be hitting them before it hits us, but we'll see. It's a shame. I hate seeing festivals in this situation because they've spent months planning it, booking it, getting it all organised, and you get to today and the weekend, because it's going to be like this all weekend, and it's not great. Not great for them, not great for us. You know, we've driven a long way today, 150 miles door to door, which actually doesn't sound that far, but it takes ages to get here because a lot of the roads aren't motorway. So it took about 3 hours 15, 3 hours 20 today. And I went via Costco in Watford. Costco, if you're watching, I partook of your excellent fuel services, cheap petrol, wonderful. Now I know that if you have an individual card as opposed to an executive card, you're not allowed in until 11 o'clock. I know that. But I literally just had 2 or 3 items to pick up to save me having to come back here in the next week or so. And they wouldn't let me in at 10 to 10. No, you got to wait until 11 o'clock. Could you really not just let me in? I literally will be in for 5-10 minutes. No, you want those benefits, you got to have an executive card. So, cheers. So I've got to come back in the week. Thanks, Costco. Cheers for that. Lord knows you get enough off us. And you charge us a membership fee. But because I was an hour and 10 minutes before 11 o'clock, you weren't going to let me in. Miseries. But there we are. Ooh. Yeah. Another weekend of gigging. Here we go. Hang on. Yes, exactly, Stacey. Costco do better. Couldn't agree more. Mad. It changed there, probably during lockdown, during COVID, where they started to employ a card scanner for your membership cards. You went in, it had a little display, and there's always someone there looking at the display. Before that, they just used to have like a zap gun, and providing your card was all right, they weren't quite as regimental about the you can't come in before a certain time. But now it's obviously a strict policy, and the old bag I had to deal with this morning wasn't relenting, so yeah, have to go back there during the week, sadly. But there we are. At least I got my cheap fuel, eh? Oh, steward's running across the field. What's going on there then? Lots of them. I can't see they've disappeared in front of the stage. So something going on, no doubt. It's weird, it looks like it's brightening up over one side, but there's no blue sky or anything. It's just a sky of dark grey cloud. So it's a shame. I've got a treats bag with me, but I've just eaten a McDonald's about 45 minutes ago, so we won't be tucking into that yet. That could be life assuring rations later. So something tells me there's not going to be a rush on for the food. I can't see it, if I'm honest. Stacy, that rain coming down is a full-on ASMR soundtrack. It is. It is. And it's relentless. It hasn't stopped since I pulled up at 1:10. It's just been like this the whole time. Hasn't got heavier, hasn't stopped. It's just been the same. I'm just grateful that A, I bought a coat, and B, I brought my boots. So I'm not walking around in shorts and trainers like some of the other clowns here. But then, as I said, I had been watching the weather forecast for here for weeks. I've just had my fingers crossed. Please let it be a really nice gig. Well, the gig will probably be great, but the weather's not going to be conducive to a good time for us or the punters. And actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm watching the cloud. The cloud is like really low, and it's zipping along. It's like you can see the darker stuff against the lighter, sort of higher cloud, I guess. I don't know the technical terms. It's moving so quick. So we'll see. I'll give you an update on this maybe after the gig, when I get to my hotel later on, if I've got decent reception, although I'm in Ipswich, so heaven knows I might not have, but if I have, maybe I'll do another short live chat later on, let you know how it went. But it's just, I don't know how we're going to pull this one off. I really don't. I just can't see people. I mean, there can only be like 8 to 10 people in the field at the moment. There's going to come a point, if this doesn't stop and people just don't turn up, people have bought tickets, but if they don't turn up, then the organisers are just going to have to pull it. Just say, we're really sorry. I get that they've still got to pay us, but that's why they would have insurance as well, because people are going to want it. Well, if you buy a ticket for an outdoor thing and it rains, it's kind of your own lookout. I don't know. If they cancel the show, do people get their ticket money back? I don't know. I don't know how that works. I don't know what the contract of the organisers is, but there we are. Not for me to worry about. I'm here anyway. So, yeah. Funny. So, any bass related questions out there? What are people up to? What are they doing over the weekend? Any of you got gigs? Where are you playing? What basses are you taking? Have you bought any new equipment? Anyone got any new pedals? New effects? New amps? I've got a new amp. I've got a new combo. I think I mentioned it on the last live chat. I bought a second-hand SWR Super Redhead. Love it. Really love it. Fabulous amp. Really, really good. Always knew they were good. I played through one once on a gig many, many years ago. And I remember thinking, this is seriously good. And then by the time I probably could have invested in getting some SWR gear, well, been bought up by Fender and run into the ground. So probably a good job I didn't, really. But yeah, this redhead super redhead is superb. There'll be some videos of it on the channel soon, very soon, and you can hear what it does. Yes, sir. Stacey, where's Lewis Wingrove with the pedal report? Well, quite. These are the people that, you know, he's having a slack time on a Friday afternoon. Well, he'll be in California, won't he? So what are we looking at there? Be 9 o'clock in the morning. He's probably only just got up. I can see. Hello. I'm all right. I've got a live chat going on. I've got a live chat going on my YouTube channel.
Shit, sorry.
That's all right.
You crack on.
Yeah, I will. So it was our sax player. I thought she wanted me for something, but no. Hang on. Here's my keys. Quick check here. Excuse me, boys and girls. Are you going down the pub?
Hang on. No, I'm just doing some work.
I can't decide if the pub's a good idea or not. Because the temptation to have a drink or two is always there, isn't it, really? But it's just we've been told we get no drinks here. There were literally 8 bottles of water in the tent. There's 9 of us in the band, 10 with the sound man. Thankfully I've got loads of drinks with me, but it's a bit of a poor show, really. We got a meal voucher, but average is what I'm thinking. Average. Yeah. However, I do have a bottle of cider from last weekend's festival that I intend to have later on once we're finished and I'm at my hotel. The old wind down drink before the land of Nod comes calling. It's weird. It is so weird. It's like slate grey cloud that side, a little patch of brightness there, then just like white grey crappy cloud in front of me. It's just, and I can't see this stopping. It's not forecast to stop. I've got no idea how we're going to do this. And with the way the rain is, like I said at sound check, we weren't on the front third of the stage because it was just waterlogged. And if this carries on, then we're not going to be at the front of the stage come performance time. Safety won't allow it. But it's all going to flood from the front to the back. So Lord knows what sort of shape the actual floor is going to be in. Crazy outdoor festivals. Don't do outdoor festivals, you festival organisers. Don't do it. It's too risky. They're lovely when it's sunny and everything's good, but when it's not, people just aren't going to come out, and then you just play into an empty field. It's like, well, craziness, I tell you. So it could be a long old live chat, because literally there is nothing to do and nowhere to go. We can go to the pub or elsewhere, but again, trying to herd up a 9-piece band and a sound man and get some sort of plan of action, that could take a while. But yeah, here we are. In fact, I'm gonna have a Diet Coke, knock myself out, eh? Cheers, happy Friday, viewers. Good to see you. There we go. There's no sponsorship involved, don't worry. I'm not being paid to publicise it. Anyway, have a good weekend wherever you are. Yeah. So what have I got in the treats bag? I have chocolate chunk, put my teeth in. Chocolate chunk shortbread. I've got a bottle of cider. Let's get the bag up here, shall we? We'll do this properly. I have a Shure SM58 microphone. Won't be eating that, of course. Got a Sennheiser wireless pack for bass. See? Position, that is bass. Shortbread, as I've just told you. Bottle of cider, as I've already mentioned. Woo! Then I've got, what's that? Lucozade Sport Raspberry in there. There's a banana, a couple of apples. Had the sandwiches, that was when I was arriving. Ah, now these are fabulous. So Doritos have brought out a new flavour, which are Burger King Whopper flavour. And they're vegetarian. In fact, they're vegan as well. So if you're of a vegetarian or vegan persuasion, looking for some new crisps that you can eat, Doritos Burger King Whopper flavour. Great. Tried some yesterday. They've hiked up the amount of corn in the crisps, so they're really, really crunchy. They're great. Saving them for later. Got some biscuits, got a can of pop, and I've got a very, like an industrial quilt sized packet of What's It Giants cheese flavour. I love the hot ones, but I got a bit bored of them. And I love the prawn cocktail ones, and I got bored of them as well. So it's back to the old originals. Yes, indeed. So that's Brooks's treat bag for the next couple of days while I'm not home. But yeah. So that's just like munchies if we weren't being fed, or you just get to that point where you're a bit peckish and you can't just pop to a shop and grab something. So you got to have a bag of treats. I've learnt this over 28 years of professional gigging. Got to have a bag of treats. Absolutely. I can see our drummer, he's getting very drenched. He's happy with himself. He bought a new car this week. Bought himself a Mercedes SUV. Lucky beggar. Yeah, the Watts, it's for the win, Stace. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's a big old bag. That'll last about 10 minutes. What are they doing outside? Actually, the rain, you may have heard, the rain has softened. And lo and behold, there's a circle of people in the field. People might be venturing out. I reckon this is a false dawn. This is just a minor layoff for 5 minutes while the cloud passes over and the next load comes in. It could get far worse yet, people. Far worse. In fact, while we've not got so much rain, we'll let the window down a bit to get some air in here. There we go. Demist a bit. Sorry, band members larking about. Youngsters, you see, they haven't got the miles on the clock that I've got. You all right? You're bored. Sleep. Get sleep. See, youngsters, youth of today, they should be recharging, getting a few 40 winks in. No, they're off for a mooch in the rain. Loons, I swear, loons. It's very nice in Cromer. I've been here several times on gigs over the years, but it's never quite when it's been this wet. I'm up here again, this sort of neck of the woods. In a couple of weeks' time, I've got a an ABBA tribute theatre show over in Hunstanton, which is sort of round the coast, in the middle of August. So if you're up this way, I'll see you then. Well, they're playing some music through the PA now, so well, there's people with tents, really. Well, you put up a tent there, mate, it's going to get absolutely sodden, and that's if it doesn't blow away. I'll keep you posted, people. Keep you posted. But the rain has decreased rapidly, but it's not meant to. So, as I say, this could be a bit of a full storm. It's still raining a bit, but yeah. So what have I got for news for you in the world of bass? Let's think. I'm going to be doing a podcast very soon. So over the 3 years that the channel's been running, I occasionally receive questions either in the comments to videos, or come through the social media, or sometimes on the live chats. Sometimes I don't get time to answer all the stuff that comes in on a live chat, so I'm pulling all the questions together. I'm going to do a podcast series. I'm still trying to think of a title. I've got a few ideas, and I will hopefully get around to filming them over the next week or two. And now I'm going to do 10 episodes, so probably going to be like 30 minutes each. I'll do 10 episodes, see how they go, see how popular they are. If they don't do anything, then fair enough. But we'll see. Yeah, I've thought about doing podcasts on many occasions, but I'm never. A lot of people do them for the sake of doing them, without actually planning out what they're going to do or what they're going to say. A good podcast, when you've got 2 or more people and you're kind of firing questions and conversation off each other, and that might be something. I've had a plan for that for quite a while, but it's getting the other people that are going to be part of it to commit time wise, because that's always the problem, trying to get people's schedules to coincide. Ajit, yes indeed, Stacey, we love Ajit. He's disappeared. He'll be very wet. Yes, trying to do that's been tricky. There was a couple of other bass players I was trying to do something with at the start of the year. Again, I think just work commitments just have kind of prevented us all sort of getting together at the same time. So for a starter, I mean, I can do multiple series of podcasts doing different things, covering different things, but I'm going to do this first batch on questions I've received, and answer them, go through them, and we'll see if they work. Might work, might not work, we'll see. Got to give it a go, you know. Got to try these things, because invariably it's the thing that you don't think is going to work that will surprise you and will. So we will see. Yeah. So, as I've said, we have the confines of my car today. I didn't want to do this in the changing room because the changing tent we've got is so small, and there's 9 of us and a sound man. It gets very noisy, and if the language gets colourful, I'm always wary that I could fall foul of the YouTube algorithm, the algorithm police, and don't really want that. So that's a lot more manageable if I'm in my own space, so to speak. Actually, I need to put my my thing on wristband, festival wristband. Although to be honest, there's so few people here, I wouldn't worry about it, mate. But I guess it gives me access to the backstage bit, doesn't it? We hate these, I tell you. One thing I hate about festival gigs, bloody wristbands. Give me a lanyard any day. Wristbands are cheap, I know that, but they're a pain to put on, they're a pain to take off. Get in your wick. But anyway, I'm done now. Stop moaning, Michael. So I can see 4 of my band all just sort of stand about in the rain. I don't get it. You want to go to the pub? Go to the pub. But we'll see how this is all going to pan out. I'm guessing now that there's people in the field, some people in chairs. Bizarre. Now people are turning up with more chairs, big waterproof Mac things. Some people looking like they're wearing a windsock. Oh no, that's just the shape of their body, sorry. Yeah, so we'll see if the organisers are going to pull the plug. At the moment, I guess not. I guess they're probably going to do the Motown band and see where they're at. But, you know, we could be waiting to go on before the Motown band. It gets very heavy rain-wise and they just go, no. We shall see. We shall see. There's a lot of people milling about in the backstage area now. It's like, well, what are you lot here for? Ah, the food bits kind of all opened up now. We got there? Windsock figures, yes. Oh, sax player's got the brolly out. That means business. Means they're probably going for a mooch around the food stands. Yeah, they're off. Off on a mooch. The brollies are out, definitely. I will go and have a look at the food at some point, but considering I only had a McPlant about an hour and a bit ago, not even remotely hungry at the moment, so we will wait. Just check. I've got that food voucher, haven't I? Yeah. I don't know what it gets me. Maybe a pizza or something. We'll see. We will see. There's no point eating now because you just feel hungry again by the time we get to showtime. So we will hold on. Yeah. So what are you all up to? Let me know. Oh, there's the organiser. He looks like a drowned rat. Poor guy. Great plans. But nil pois today. Nil pois, mate. It's not happening. Well, now I can see in the field you've got little groups of like 5 and 6 people on little chair things, and yeah, it's like you're all sort of there at the moment, but if that rain really goes for it in the next couple of hours, I can't see you staying there the whole time. But we'll see. We will see. We will see what transpires. Mm-mm. Well, there is activity. It's all hotting up here now. Well, it's not really, it's just small amounts of people. Scott, good to see you, my friend. Oh, Stacey as well. Lunchtime here. Hope you have a... Don't disappear. Oh, it has disappeared. Right, hold on. Lunchtime here. Hope you have a wonderful gig, even in the inclement weather. Knock and winding. I will try. Scott, surprised to see a Friday... Let's say Friday live. Impromptu, Scott. Impromptu. On a gig. Got very good mobile reception, so it'd be rude not to do an impromptu live chat, and also because there's absolutely hours to kill today. And I haven't done a live chat since the one a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. So I thought it was time to do one. There might be another one tomorrow. Again, depends on the reception. But today my phone has got full mobile internet, so we can do a live chat. That's good. Good luck on the gig. Cheers, Scott. We're going to need it if we're not going to get electrocuted, struck down with pneumonia, frozen to death, washed out. Anything could happen. You wouldn't know it was summer. You would know it's summer in the UK. It's what we get. We get literally a week or two of great weather, and then we pay for it with like 2 months of wind, rain, cold. Not great. What's the bass and gear choice for this gig? It's the Status Empathy, because it's another episode of the bass string experiment. Gig number 48 tonight with these strings. In 2 weeks, these strings will have been on for a whole year. So Status Empathy, got a GB Rumor 4-string as backup, no amplification, just on a pedal board with the TU2 Boss tuner, Digitech drop pedal, Aguilar filter twin, envelope filter, EBS octave pedal, and the Aguilar tone hammer preamp DI. So basically the internal guts of a tone hammer amp without the power section. That's it, keeping it simple. We're on in ears, so we all have our own individual mix, and no amplification. So load in and off of the stage is very easy. Took me literally about 6 minutes to get set up once I got the gear out of the car. Broke it all down because the other band need the room for their stuff. We haven't got a roll on, roll off stage today, unfortunately. And I stuck it back in the car. No point in leaving it up there, it's just going to get wet and cold. So nice setup. Yeah, works for me. The empathy is just great, even though those strings are you know, dying. The EQ just gets you through, really does. The only point when those strings will stop, and I'll change the strings if a string snaps or if the tuning goes. If the tuning goes, and I had that once on a set of strings where I wanted to see how long I could eke them out for, and eventually the lower strings, the E and the A, will just die, and you find you're having to tune up after every song, and they may or may not hold their tuning on in the middle of a song, and at that point strings have got to go. I can't leave them on, too unreliable. And that's any brand, that's not just the brand that I'm using. But as long as they keep in tune and they don't snap, we'll soldier on. Now, someone else might have a different bass and try to get the same number of gigs out of them as I've got. They're not going to sound as good because the Empathy just has such a great EQ on it. That's kind of what's saving my bacon at the moment. So it gets me through. Doesn't matter what sort of gig it is, what sort of band, what the material is. That EQ. I've always called this my Status Empathy, my red bass, the battering ram, because it just goes through any band mix. There's no gig I've ever done where I've suddenly thought, this isn't working, it's not doing what I need it. It's done everything. So, you know, in that respect, I knew picking that bass was the right thing to do for this series of videos. So it's all good. It's all good. There's music going through the PA, but I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many people there are. 30, maybe. Mad. It's mad. You need well, you want a good 500 in there to make that look reasonable. Oh well. It's one to tell your kids about, isn't it? So fingers crossed, there's a van out there doing pizzas. That's what I fancy before we do our show. Sometimes you get, well, I had a great one at Cambridge Club Festival a few weeks ago. You might have seen that actually on the live chat, the impromptu live chat I did for that. The pizza I had there was great. It's not always that good though, not at festivals. But yeah, if I could have a repeat of that, I'd be really happy. Oh, and some good news. I've just had a Queen gig come in for Queen tribute gig come in for Boxing Day. During the Christmas holidays, we're going to be down at Bognor, Butlins. So that'll be good fun. And we got the A team for that band as well. Everyone's available, so it's all good. All good. I saw a message pop in there. Sorry, I have to keep doing this because I'm not running off my laptop or a desktop, obviously. How many songs are you playing tonight? I think we're doing an hour and a half. I think we're doing an hour and a half. So on that basis, usually an hour in any band, unless it's like every song is 6 minutes and drawn out. Usually an hour is between sort of 15, 17 songs. So I think tonight we're probably going to do about 25. But then I say that, and we have quite a few medleys. So we have an Earth, Wind and Fire medley, which has got 3 songs. That's 9.5 minutes long. We do another medley which has got Kool and the Gang, Gap Band and Chic in it, and that's 8.5 minutes. We do a medley of Boogie Nights and Lost in Music, so that's another 5.5, 6 minutes. So where I say we're doing, you know, we need like 25 songs, well, 3 song medley is 3. It's still 3 in a medley, so it all works out. So it's about 24, 25 songs, I think. And it'll be good. We did I think both our sets last week were they an hour and a half? Maybe for Oxted Festival was an hour, but the gig on Saturday was an hour and a half. So I would imagine we're probably just going to do the same set we did last Saturday. So that'll be Casey and the Sunshine Band medley, Young Hearts, Blame It on the Boogie, Earth, Wind and Fire medley, Boogie Nights, Lost in Music, Staying Alive, Le Chic, that's not even a song. Le Freak, Rain's back, by the way, absolutely piddling down. Let me think, what else do we do? And then there's the Dance 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 medley, which is Dance 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 by Chic, Funky Town by Lip Sync, Boogie Oogie Oogie by Taste of Honey. Then I'm Every Woman with Get Lucky. Everybody Dance by Chic. Ooh. Oops Upside Your Head medley. A couple of others. Yeah, we've kind of worked out what a general framework of an hour and a half sets are. So if we do 2 1 hours, then everything comes out. Andrew McClure, how's things? I'm good. I'm in my car. It's grey and horrible outside, and it's absolutely hammering down with rain. So yeah, not too bad. I'm on a festival, doing an outdoor festival on the Norfolk coast. We've done sound check. There's another band on with us. They're on first. They've sound checked. Stage is partially covered in water, which is great, and people are starting to attend. But unless they swell in number, if the weather gets worse, who knows how many of them are going to hang around. And yeah, we'll see if the show's going to happen. We're not on till about 9:15, so there's a way to go yet. But thank you for asking. I do appreciate it. How are you? What's going on at your end? If you got any questions about basses, bass guitars, amplifiers, pedals, effect boards, strings, accessories, gig bags, feel free. That's what I'm here for today. So we don't normally do impromptu live chats, are exactly what they say they are, impromptu live chats. So it's not a regular live chat like we do on a Tuesday, but I'm out on a gig. We have good reception, I hope you guys can see and hear it all good. And yeah, I thought I'd chat to my friends on the channel. You're moving with your parents to Pennsylvania. From where? And are you moving in terms of driving a van or driving a car, or are you flying, or what are you doing? From Maryland, okay. Is that a long distance move, or is that not too bad? You tell me. As I said earlier, there'll be some new merchandise designs going on the channel shortly. So there'll be some new t-shirts, some new hoodies, and all of that thing. About an hour. Oh, very good. Okay, that's not too bad. Are you moving with your parents, or are you helping your parents move? But yes, there'll be some new merchandise designs going up over the next couple of weeks. There may even be some limited editions. We will see. With your parents, excellent. Well, happy house moving. Hope it all goes well. Hope nothing gets broken in the process. And I hope your new place is everything you hope it's going to be. I haven't moved house in 18 years. And I quite like it can stay like that as well. I've moved around so much in my life, I've had enough of house moving. That's okay. That's all right, my friend. Hope you have a great weekend moving house. Hope the weather's good for you as well. And yeah, hope where you're going to is, as I say, hope it's everything you hope it's going to be. It's still raining. I'm not even going to turn the phone round to show you, but you'll get the picture. It took me long enough to get the phone perched on its tripod there on the dashboard. So yeah, here we are. Well, numbers are, I can't say numbers are swelling, but there's definitely little clusters of people accruing in the field. Okay. It bodes well, I tell you. It bodes well. So if you've just, like Andrew, if you just sort of come across this live chat, what bass are you using for the gig? I'm using my regular Status Graphite Empathy base, the red one with the Aqua LEDs. This is tonight is gig number 48 on the Bass String Experiment series. People hear me talk about this and then go, what are you talking about? There's a series of videos here on the channel called the Bass String Experiment series, and there's a playlist. So if you go into the playlist section of the channel, you'll find a playlist for it. So in the playlist, we're up to gig number 14, which dates back to September last year. We're nearly a year, yeah. But actually, physically tonight, the strings that are on my Empathy tonight will have done 48 gigs. So the next video in that series is, I said months ago, they're going to look at a clump of gigs rather than individually, because what I found was when I was doing the filming was we got to a point after about 13 or 14 gigs where I was saying the same thing about the strings, video after video after video. It's like, I can't keep asking you to watch these videos and I'm saying the same thing. So the next couple of videos in that series are going to be 5 gigs together. So the next video will cover gigs 15, 16, 17, 18 and 19. The next video after that will be 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, then 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and that's how it will go ahead until we get towards the end of the life of the strings, and then we'll go back into individual videos. But it's easier if that, you know, the strings don't deteriorate too much after you get past about 15, 16 gigs. What's happening is the E and the A string are dying off because they're played the most. We're bass players, that's what happens. Graham, good to see you. And the D and G string are still fairly twangy. They've still got a fair bit of life in them. But the E and the A are like bits of old rope. They're not great. But the joy of using that bass, using the Status Empathy, is that the 3-band EQ on it with its mid-sweep, great bass EQ, great treble EQ, is just gives you everything that the strings are now lacking. So certainly on the funk gigs, in terms of slapping, the E and the A, they're not great, but for all the fingerstyle stuff, they're fine. So until we get to a point that either a string snaps or the strings just lose their ability to stay in tune, we'll keep going. So we're heading towards 50. So the 50th gig for those strings will be next Thursday at Stand and Calling Festival. And again, we just carry on and on and on until, as I say, a string snaps or the tuning goes. I just missed that message. Sorry, I was too busy wittering. Hi, Graham. Hope you're good. Yeah, very good, my friend. Andrew, in answer to your question, so as backup to the Status, I've got a GB Rumour 4-string, my own bass that was made for me by Bernie Goodfellow at GB Guitars, Kingfisher Blue model. So if you've looked at any of the other videos or live chats before, you'll see I reference that video, that bass quite regularly. Andrew McClure, have you compared how much the strings have died between every 5 or 10 gigs? Well, you'll see that if you watch through the series of videos. So for the first 14 videos, I rate the strings after every gig. So in terms of brightness, bottom end, feel, and their overall tone. So when I get into this next batch, which is 15 to 19, 20 to 24, 25 to 29, I will do an individual quick breakdown on each gig, and then when I get to the end of the video, what they were like at the start of that clutch of gigs and what they were like at the end of that chunk of gigs. So it makes sense. There'll be some obvious, right, okay, this is how they were at the beginning, this is how they are at the end of that batch of gigs. But they've been very reliable. I mean, Rotor Sound, as a history of strings, I know they've had phases where people have said, oh, they've died off, or I don't get many gigs out of a set and what have you. Different players, how you play them, what the chemical composition of the sweat that comes out of your hands is. Not everyone's the same. I don't sweat out my fingers, I sweat out my forehead. So my strings tend to last quite a long time, but they last, whether it's Rotor Sound or any other brand, They last a lot longer on a Status Empathy than they do on a regular Fender, Music Man, or any bass with a 4 in a row headstock design. I don't know why. I think it's something to do with the speaking length of the string. But I can't put my finger on it. But if I get a brand new set of strings, put them on a Fender Jazz, within 6 to 7 gigs, those strings are dead. I put them on an Empathy, and here we are, gig 48. The D and G strings are still great. The E and the A string are fairly dead. But it took a long time for them to get to that point. It didn't really kick in that way until we got into the early to mid 30s. So you tell me, you know, why does a set of strings on a Fender die off after 7 gigs? Yeah, the same set on a Status Empathy does a whole lot more. I don't know. But the parameter for this is every gig that I've done with this bass, a gig is between 60 minutes and 2 hours. So, you know, there's no small gigs. I haven't used the bass for practicing. It's literally no rehearsals. It's just been used on gigs since the end of July last year. Sorry, I missed your last message. I really try to wash my hands before playing. Cool, it really helps. Not sure if you can do that on a gig. Usually yes, and I'll always do that if I have the option, if I have the ability to do that. We're quite lucky in this band in Uncle Funk that we have nice gigs, usually quite nice changing rooms, and we have nice facilities. Unfortunately today, the gig would be nice if it was sunny. Facilities, none, and we're literally in kind of an outdoor tent thing. It's not great, but it is what it is, and it's absolutely pouring with rain, as you can hear. So yeah, I mean, I will always wash my hands if I can. Otherwise, I've usually got some hand wipes with me, or I might have hand sanitizer. Actually, I need some of that now as it goes. So, you know, that's kind of what happens. But I am very fortunate that I don't have lots of sweat come out of my hands when I'm playing. Some players I know, doesn't matter whether they're bass players or guitar players, can go literally kill a set of strings in a gig. And you have to ask the question, what the hell is in your sweat? What is in your body? Or what are you pumping out that's causing that to happen? Sorry, trumpet players decided to leave. I think people are going down the pub and doing stuff. So everyone's kind of doing their own thing today. I find that I sweat when I practice hard. Yet when I play at church, I usually don't sweat. Okay, maybe it's an aircon thing, maybe a temperature thing, perhaps, maybe. Scott M, the hand sanitizer helps. Nice move. It smells nice as well. This is Bayliss and Harding of England. Jasmine and Apple Blossom luxury hand gel. Don't you know? But it smells lovely. But I realised I hadn't done any of that since I had my McDonald's. So yeah, there we go. So yeah, happy Friday everyone, happy weekend. Hope if you've got plans, I hope you're going to have nice weather for whatever you've got planned. So I've got this gig tonight, I've got another gig tomorrow, wedding indoors, hurrah, in Bishop Stortford, which is sort of Hertfordshire, Cambridgeshire way here in the UK, just north of London. And then I've got nothing until next week, and then next week there's 4 gigs. So we've got Uncle Funk at Stand and Calling Festival on Thursday, then Uncle Funk again at Chidfest down near Brighton next Friday. So hoping both festivals, no rain please, we don't want rain. And then Saturday I'm with Capricorns, got a wedding in Newbury. And then Sunday, Uncle Funk again, we've got a private sort of festival party thing going on near Huntingdon. So yeah, so busy old week next week. That's my mum calling, I'll speak to her later on. Very good. How can I gig without a car? Well, you can, you just need to find either a band that will come and pick you up, or you need to live in a house with a band, or live very close to where a band you work with lives. I was very lucky at the start of my career that I didn't have a car, but I was in a band where most of the lineup all lived in one house. So as long as I got to the point where they were leaving from, I had transport to the gig. But there comes a point, if you want to be a musician, you want to be a professional musician, and you're serious about it, you're going to have a car. Because people without cars can't dep. You can't really expect to be a depping musician and not have a car. You can't always rely on other band members to get you to gigs. Where you live can be a complete nightmare. So if you want to be a professional musician, you want to do this for a living, you're going to need to get a car at some point. And also, if you're carrying gear, I learned quite early on, you need an estate car if you're going to be a bass player. Although I say that, a lot of my gigs now, I'm on a pedal board with IEMs. Technology has made in-ear monitoring affordable and really good. And you know, a lot of the work I do now, I don't need amplification, and my amplification requirements have downsized so much. You know, if I had amplification with me for this weekend, I still wouldn't need to put the seats down in the back. I could get a 2x12 cabinet in, Class D Aguilar AG700 amp, and I'm good to go. As it is today, all I've got is my Leeds case, my gig case, and my pedal board case, 2 basses, and my clothes. That's it. But if you want to be a professional musician, you will need to become mobile. It just comes with the territory. Scott, you can have Uber if you have a PA you'll be playing on. Yeah. Yeah, again, you don't want to be paying all your money out in taxis. And the thing is, if you're going to be a professional musician, I don't know if you are, Andrew, all the car costs and running a car and everything to do with owning a car comes off your business expenses anyway. It comes off your tax bill. So, you know, and it just means you're more flexible. You know, someone rang me up today and said, can you do a gig on Sunday? And by the way, it's in Manchester. I can do it. I'm not reliant on anyone else to get me there. Have gear, will travel, you know. But I've had my own car since 1998, and the point was made to me, someone I depped for regularly. It just got to a point, he just said, look, are you going to get a car? And I said, yeah. I said, but I need enough gigs to make it affordable to own a car and run a car. I said, but at the moment I don't have enough work coming in to be able to do that. He said, well, if you don't get a car, I can't give you work anymore. And that was basically the point that I said, well, I've got to get a car then, haven't I? And as soon as I got the car, I got more work. And it's carried on since that. So 1998, got my own car. Been a working musician ever since. Well, I've been a working musician since 1995, but, you know, with my own wheels, upwardly mobile, can go anywhere, do anything. Within reason. So, yeah, I hope that helps you. It's absolutely bucketing now. I told you that quiet spell, it was only a quiet spell, it wasn't going to last. I know these things. It also helps that I saw the weather forecast for days in advance, and it said basically once the rain started here, it wasn't going to be stopping. So, there we go, eh? So yeah, so if any of you got your eyes on particular bases you're looking to buy, any of you got a base that you really want to get hold of, or that you might be saving for, maybe, what are you thinking of? Let me know. Needless to say, all of the brollies are up in the field. The small collection of people that have decided to get here early, I hope they didn't think there was going to be a rush, because there isn't. They've all got their brollies up. You could be at home watching the telly, guys, really. Or making something nice for dinner. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm grateful that people come out to gigs, but just look at the weather. You could be putting yourself in the hospital. For those of an older persuasion and probably of a fragile constitution, this might not be the best choice. But, I mean, Lord knows we're going to be freezing tonight on that stage. I know that much. The sanctuary of my hotel room will be wonderful, I promise. Andrew, I've got a hybrid upright bass. It'll take a while. Yeah, I think you need your own vehicle for that eventually though, sir. Scott, I've been dreaming of maybe getting a custom shop Fender P bass. I've got custom Cliff Boardwell basses coming in 2 weeks though. You just bought, was it the Precision 2? You bought that like two-tone blue one. How did you get on with that? Or is that not floating your boat? Because I know people who've had custom shop Fenders, and sometimes the dream of getting one is not fulfilled when it arrives. It's not what you thought it was going to be. My problem with that sort of thing, going down that custom route through a company like Fender, is I'm sure there's some interaction conversationally and emails and pictures and videos and what have you. But in that building process, I'd want to be getting my hands on it. So actually visiting the guy building it, which is kind of what I did with Bernie Goodfellow when he built my my Roomer. But there was still some aspects of that were taken out of my hands. They were done, and I didn't get to make a decision on it until I next saw the bass, by which time the wood had been carved and things had been done, and it was like you can't change it. So I'm always a little skeptical. Sorry, that's a different thing. Skeptical of a Fender custom shop, unless I was in America and I could go and sort of partake in the build of it. Or maybe I'm just overly critical. Yes, I had to replace the Fender Professional 2's electronics and pickups. Really? Were they that bad? Wow. Wow. Is that what's pushed you in that direction to get a custom shop then? Because that wasn't a cheap bass for you to buy. That was still, what, $1,500 maybe? You're waiting on an AliExpress 6-string 4 pickup bass. Jeepers. That'll keep you busy. A 6-string 4 pickup bass. Wowzers. Woo! There'll be some shredding at Scott's for that. Definitely. Yes, sir. The rain's getting heavier. It's a crazy Friday here on Brooks's Bass Corner. We're doing a live chat from the inside of my car. I'm waiting for plug your books. Me? I don't have no books. You've probably got me confused with someone else. I have no books to plug, sir. I've got merchandise. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, mouse mats, glasses, cups, mugs. All of that. But I don't have any books, I'm afraid. Scott, they were awful. The Professional 2 is staying, but I want to also... Sorry, the messages fade. But I want to also... Oh, sorry, I missed that. But I have a custom shop Fender to complete my collection. Good for you, Scott. Well done. Wow, we can hear the rain. Yeah, it's loud. Graham, thinking of getting a used Music Man Stingray. Very good. Had one in the past, but it suffered with the classic weak G-string. Well, make sure you try the bass you're looking at before you buy it, because you never know which bass has got that and which one hasn't. And even pickup replacements that say they cure it don't necessarily. I've got an Aguilar in mine, and it kind of remedied it, but it's still not perfect. What I have heard people say though is that to make it... Christ, there's a digger here. He's going to knock over the toilets. Big JCB digger. What are you driving into, mate? Use your brake. Christ almighty. Sorry, that's completely thrown me. Is to use a compressor, which will bring the volume up of that G string in comparison to the other strings. And I've read all the things that people have done with Stingrays, dropping the top part of the pickup on the E and A strings, boosting it up under the D and G. All that happens then is the strings just keep hitting the poles on the pickup. Why are you taking those toilets away, mate? That's for the backstage people. Are we not going to have a toilet here? Sorry, very, very odd looking bloke here with a JCB digger. And I think he's taking the toilets away. Or he's taking one toilet away. Just gets stranger and stranger here. Sorry, just weird. This whole festival today is just weird. Oh well. Yeah, so yeah, the weak G-string thing. So I'm never entirely sure that I've ever solved it with my Stingray that I've got. My Stingray that I had before, which was the old one that Mark King had, it wasn't necessarily a weak G-string, it just wasn't hugely loud. But I think there's something to be said for different Stingrays through the years where there may have been some sort of electronic element in the circuitry. So I'm just watching this digger. He's going to take our sax player's front end of her car off if he's not careful. What are you doing, mate? What are you doing? Crazy. I think there might have been a component on the circuit at some point, which is why some basses don't have that weak G string. But let's be fair, a lot of Stingrays do. So I would always say, make sure you go and try the bass before you buy it. Don't just buy online and think it's going to be okay, because that weak G string could really put you off the bass. So try it before you buy it. Oh, just seen a huge load of water fly off the canopy on the top of the stage. Oh, it bodes well, doesn't it, today? It's going to be great. Absolutely great. Welcome to my world. Oh, hang on. Let's see, there's a few messages there I've missed. The Stingray specials are just amazing. Yep, I've owned two. Yeah, I reviewed a couple. I'm very impressed with the improvements they made. Andrew McClure, do you know of any basses with 4 pickups? Well, clearly the one that Scott's going to buy. And there have been players who've had custom basses built that have got a humbucker, a split coil and 2 jazz pickups, and then they switch between them based on the tones they need. You could say any bass fitted with Sims super quad pickups has 4 pickups in. Well, in actual fact, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's an easy get out for me there. Graham, hope nobody is in the loop. Or no, quite. I think he did check, because yeah, the lock on it would have given the game away there. But yeah, I think what they've got is a lack of toilets in other parts of the site. Yeah, that was surreal. So yes, so basically we now have 1 toilet to cater for 10 of us and however many are in the other band. Great. Okay, that should be delightful around about 11 o'clock then. I think I'll hold them until I get to my hotel. Well, there's a gathering of people, but yeah, maybe people will just hold off until the start time for the first band, maybe. I think that's the way this is going to pan out, isn't it? And then there'll be like a deluge, unless the weather just gets progressively worse, and there won't be a deluge at all. We shall see. Yeah. Crazy times indeed. Yeah, I couldn't believe the amount of water that came off that canopy. So basically, I'm looking at the stage here. It's got a flat canopy on the top. There must have been like a strong gust of wind or something, because the top all rippled and all the water fell off. Straight down the back, they've put all the flight cases for the stage and stuff under the stage. So I hope none of those were hanging outside the sort of drop of the backdrop of the stage, because if they did, they're going to be absolutely soaking now. Rock and roll. Here we are. Rock and roll, baby. Oh, backstage artists with multiple umbrellas. She must be in the Motown band. I wouldn't go using that toilet. Someone might come along in a digger and take you away. They couldn't. There is no other toilet for the for us performers. That is essentially it. Surreal old gig, isn't it? Surreal. Crazy. Crazy, 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 man. It's summer, but you wouldn't know it. There's a poor guy here. He's working here at the festival. I don't really know what he's doing. He's just gone into the sound booth thing on the side of the stage, and he looks like a drowned rat as well. Yeah. Welcome to Festival Land. There's another big people carrier van. Probably going to have some of the other band. But maybe this will be for the singers of the other band. Oh, because the musicians were here for their sound check. What's the time? 6:15. Yeah, so I would imagine they're probably going on about 6:45, maybe. Yeah, 7:15 till 8:15, and then I think we're between 9:15 and 9 through till 10:15, 10:30. There's this window gap of 15 minutes for both bands to start. So we will see. Yeah. Cheers everyone, have a good Friday, have a great weekend, look after yourselves, be good. I think there's a member of the other band skulking around the tent looking for refreshments, but there aren't any. Apart from a rogue bottle of water, maybe. That's all there is, mate. Possibly the most unprovided for festival I've ever played at. I expected there to be a few cans of fizzy pop, maybe. I did spot a bag of crisps or two, but that was at 1 o'clock. They might well be gone. Mad, really. He gets to drive all this way and you're not going to provide anything to drink. Great. thanks. But I've learnt my lesson well over the years. You see, you always bring a bag with some stuff, especially being vegetarian, because you can't always guarantee there's going to be any food for you. Invariably, they'll go, oh, there's 10 meals, they're all meat. And that's not really going to float my boat. So I always make sure I bring stuff. And if there is stuff for me, then great. Then the stuff I've bought, I'll eat later. You can't guarantee it. And there is nothing worse than going on stage hungry, I can assure you. If you haven't got the energy, it's not a particularly pleasant experience. So even if I'm just packing a load of fruit, so like bananas, apples, some berries, stuff. Some berries, sounds like I'm a caveman. Like a thing of strawberries or something. But then invariably you end up with some crisps and some other bits and bobs as well. So, but I'm pretty good. I'll bring sandwiches and stuff, bring some water, bring some juice. So if worst comes to the worst, I've got something. I've done too many gigs in places and areas where there is nothing locally within like a 10-mile radius. We did one actually 2 years ago where we did a wedding, and we were meant to get fed, and was it the client or was it the cook? It was the catering company. Knew they had to provide for us, but they basically bought so little to feed the guests, they gave the guests our food. So we kept saying, when are we being fed? And they said, oh, later, later, later. And then it was like 15 minutes before we went on stage. And they said, oh, here's the band food. And there was literally nothing. It was pathetic. And the band leader had to kind of have a go when the client came out and said, well, why haven't the band been fed? The guy had to hold his hands up. I didn't bring enough food. He was basically scrimping. He was trying to do everything, so there was nothing left once the client had eaten their meal. And but he was going to charge the client for the measly scraps he was going to give us, and it was like, it's a joke. Now normally, and actually every other gig that year, I made sure I had food with me. Didn't do it that gig, did I? I was an idiot. And it was challenging. Yeah, you could say that. It was challenging. I've just got to get my battery pack out of my bag, because the battery on the phone is going to die off. Bear me a minute, guys. Here we go, Brooksy's key bag. Oh, that'll be white. There you go. Battery pack to the rescue. Where are you? It's not that. There we are. That's got it. Oi, oi, oi. Do. There we go. Beautiful. Oh. Let's see. No, that's not working, is it? It's the battery packs. Move. Try and get comfortable, eh? Yeah. Brooks's Bass Corner, impromptu live chat. Friday afternoon in Cromer in Norfolk. It's absolutely hammering down. Absolutely hammering down. We're meant to be playing a festival in a very big field just over there. There are pockets of people, but I have got absolutely no idea if this is going to get rained off or not. Personally, I would pull it. I think it's unsafe, unhealthy, just not good, but it's going on. I just need to answer I told you earlier about a friend of mine who's coming today to this show, who was the lead singer of the glam rock tribute, and he's just sent me a message. Just bear with me a moment, people, while I try and reply to his message. See if I do it like, no, it doesn't like that. Okay. What I might have to do is possibly come off of this. Like, I can't see how I can come out of here without cancelling the chat. Is it that? No, you don't want to see the inside of my car, do you? Don't know how I'm going to do it. Tell you what, we'll get up to 2 hours in 5 minutes, and I'll quickly come off here, send him a message, and then I'll come back to you. Does that sound like a deal? Are we all right with that? There will literally be like a 5-minute gap, so give you time to go and get a drink, settle yourself down, and we'll probably have another hour and a half of live chat, because this is, I'll show you. This is what we got. It's not great, is it? It's absolutely tipping it down. Welcome to festival season. Excellent. Yeah, it's a little inclement. I think was the phrase Stacey Ann used. Inclement would be about right. See, there's people gathering. I think it's a little foolish. They're obviously coming because they've finished work, so we're getting closer to 6 o'clock. But it's, I wouldn't be. I don't care if I'd bought a ticket in advance. It's not good in my book. You're just going to get drenched. It doesn't matter how many protective layers and umbrellas and stuff you use. If the wind's going to blow that rain horizontally, you're getting wet. And I'm more worried about us on the stage, because there is no side protection. They've got the roof, they've got the back. There's a slim strip down the side of each, but there's room either side. And that rain is basically going to come straight onto the stage over all the power. Not a good idea. For anyone that doesn't know, water and electricity don't mix well. It's not a good outcome. So I'm not sure what they're going to do. But we stay put in our band to tell us otherwise. And, you know, we're here to do the show, but if they decide they're going to pull it, I just can't see, like, the first band are going to go on. Unless the weather seriously improves between now and then. I mean, you're literally playing to 30 or 40 people, maybe. It's a huge field. You'd expect like 500 to 1,000 in there minimum, but no. Don't do outdoor gigs in the summer in the UK. You can try and you might get lucky, but personally, if this was my money, my event, indoors every day, or in a big top like we do with Saltasia and like we did last week with Camper Jam. But it's too risky with all that financial, you know, the finances you've got to pour into it to put it on. Why are you putting it at risk if it can rain? Because it doesn't make this isn't enjoyable for people sat in a cold, wet, windy, muddy field. Maybe it's me. I don't see the allure. I really don't. Anyway, 30 seconds till we hit 2 hours. So thank you very much for being on this live chat. I will come back in about 5-10 minutes. I just need to deal with a few messages that have popped in on my phone. So if you're going to come back, I'll be back. Go get yourselves a drink, maybe some nibbles or something, and we can have an involved bass chat. Well, here in the UK, people will be finishing work and what have you, so we might have some of the regulars on, or a few more of the regulars. But I'll be back in a moment, okay? So I'll say bye for now. I'll see you back here in about 5-10 minutes. Take it easy. See you in a minute.